All right. Joining me all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Is I get that right? Is it Melbourne?
Yeah. We just say Melbourne, but yeah.
Melbourne, Melbourne, Australia. Fucking Matt Young from King Parrot. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. I was talking about earlier. I just dropped my phone, but that's okay. Uh, the weather's cooling off over here in the States. Well, at least in South Louisiana, and so y'all are gearing up for like this mega tour in the UK with Pantera and Power Trip like next year, right?
Yeah. We've been getting ready for that. We're just sort of working on all that at the moment, and we're doing a whole bunch of shows in the UK and Europe
Oh
actually.
wow.
And I think we do 11 shows together with those two, and then we're actually staying on through March, and we're going to do some shows with the old school death metal band Master.
Yeah.
I think they're originally from Florida. I know they've been around a long time. It's their 40th anniversary tour, and they asked us if we wanted to join them for some shows because we were going to be there anyway. And I think it's that tour starts the day after the Pantera show is finished. So, we're just going to just jump straight into that and do another 20 something shows with them through
That's
Europe, which
fucking
is going to be
awesome, man.
sick. Yeah.
I was just jamming the previous band that the guys in Master started, Death Strike, just
Right.
last night. Yeah, I mean, I used it as one of the little soundtracks to a new episode. Fucking love Death Strike and even love Master, man. So that's gonna be one hell of a fucking tour for y'all.
Yeah, it's kind of a spin out, It's just sort of how it all kind of worked out, and just the fact that the tour started the next day, and we're going to be there. And obviously, coming from Australia, it's a going to Europe is or going anywhere really is a huge trip. But we just want to make the most of it while we're there, and have to have an opportunity like that is killer.
So Matt, let's man, to the viewers, to the audience who's not familiar with King Parrot and your story, what I like to do is just get to know you more, on this episode, and tell me more about how life growing up in Melbourne. You can go as far as back as you wanted to.
Sure,
Disclose whatever you want,
sure.
withhold whatever you want. It's totally up to you. I'm just curious, like how music became like a passion for you and just made you want to pick up an instrument or a microphone and just like start doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm an '80s kid, so I was born in '81, so I grew up with through all the cock rock era and all that sort of stuff, and I had a older cousin who was into all of that stuff, who introduced me to Motley Crue, Poison, Guns N' Roses, all that crap, and I kind of looked up to him a lot when I was younger because he was like 3 or 4 years older, so that was my introduction to music, but also having my dad was a big rocker in the 60s, 70s, and he was like right into AC/DC and a lot of the Australian rock that was going on through that period of time. It was quite a big scene in Australia, so I got introduced to all of that sort of stuff through vinyl records. Um, and then gradually progressed my way into more heavier and extreme stuff as I got older, and basically didn't stop. I think by the time I was like 13, I was wearing a Dark Throne t-shirt and a Birdman t-shirt or something like that.
Yes, dude.
I think I saw Cannibal Corpse when I was 13 years old.
Wow,
Um,
that must have been
uh,
mind blowing for you.
in Melbourne. So like that's sort of but I mean, I love all music, all punk rock, heavy metal, extreme metal, whatever it is, sludge, grindcore, you name it. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in all the tracks that I have exposed myself to in King Parrot, you could definitely hear all those different genres kind of convalesce in your music. You definitely have the ACDC. Like, I don't know if it was by design or just how your voice does it. Uh, just it it sounds like like a fucking extreme version of ACDC in all the best ways.
yeah, I've heard that a lot lately, actually, and Um, a few interviews that I've done recently, people have said, it sounds like extreme metal AC/DC, and I'm like, oh, that's the biggest compliment that you could get, as far as I'm concerned, because that's sort of what we are. And I'm hugely influenced by Bon Scott and Brian Johnson, so I think they're both amazing. And yeah, I don't know how. Like, it was kind of weird. When we first started doing the band, I got clean and sober, and
Oh,
and
good
I
for you, man.
yeah, and I quit smoking cigarettes about, I don't know, maybe 6 months to 12 months into doing the band, and I'd go to rehearsals when we were first starting, and I'd get trashed and smoke lots of cigarettes and weed and whatever, and I'd lose my voice after every rehearsal because I was just trying to learn how to do that more extreme style. But then once I quit the cigarettes, my voice just kind of went whoop and just went up to this kind of higher range. It just felt more comfortable to sing that way. And so I just kind of went, and the dudes were kind of looking at me going, you sound different now. And I was like, I think I'm just going to run with that because it feels really comfortable. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I know being a musician and being clean and sober, that
Mm.
that probably initially for you, because I mean, where the venues you play and the surroundings and the people that you're around, maybe they're not alcoholics or addicts or anything like that, but the alcohol is around. I mean, do you ever find yourself like like tempted to go back to the shit?
Not really. I mean, it was difficult at the start because I was an everyday drug addict and alcoholic. So for about 15 years, probably from when I was about 15, 16 till I was 30, I was an everyday user, and by the time I got to 30, man, I just had so many ridiculous things happen in my life that were just um, yeah, it was. I mean, it was clear that drugs and alcohol were the problem.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah. I
was
totally understand.
very obvious.
Yeah, you're talking to someone who's 16 years sober myself, man, and
You get it, right?
I totally get it. And it was kind of a redundant question for you as far as me asking if you ever attempted, but I kind of know the answer to that. Because we know, being in a solution, we know what works and what doesn't for us, man.
Yeah,
Like, because I don't know about you, but I just don't want to continue that cycle on and on and on and on.
yeah,
Uh, and so I'm congrats to you, man. I know it's no easy feat, so that's awesome.
yeah. And I think one of the main things for me was like um, trying to. I wasn't achieving what I wanted to achieve. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do because drugs and alcohol had such a powerful effect on my life. I still played music and I did all of that stuff, but I didn't. I wasn't able to tour and do the sort of stuff that King Parrot's doing and been doing for the last sort of 10 or 15 years. And that was what I really wanted to do. And I mean, I could do a small little Australian tour for a weekend and go over to like Adelaide or Sydney or something like that, but I wasn't able to really. I just didn't have the brain capacity to think bigger.
Right, right, yeah. Like, your mind only allowed you to do so much that
Yeah.
you were comfortable with, anything out your comfort zone. I know for me, like, whenever I was using and drinking myself, like, I would only allow myself to do so much
Yeah. And I
before I
didn't have
get
the
uncomfortable.
confidence either. And I totally lacked the confidence too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was,
Insecurities through the roof.
yeah. I was second guessing myself with everything. I just couldn't get my shit together basically. So that was a big motivator for me as well. Is that I was like, "Fuck, I'm 30 now. My 20s are gone. Sure, I had a great time taking drugs. Don't get me wrong. Like some of the best moments of my life were on drugs and drinking and all of that. But it was more about, as you know, like it's more about where it got you to in the end, and that was not a great place.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of that shit was just holding you back from what you want to do. You had bigger goals. And so how long have you been involved with King Parrot now? You said about 15 years?
Yeah, something like that. I think we started rehearsing around 2009. We started playing around 2010. And then we had a little break. Very early on, we had a little break. And then once we got kind of 2011, we kind of really started, we did put out our first EP and started touring more and playing around Australia more.
Yeah, the first EP that was Bite Your Head Off.
No, it's called The Stench of Hardcore Pub Trash. Is the first
Okay.
EP, and that came out in 2011, just sort of locally here in Australia. And then we put out Bite Your Head Off in 2012. That was on Candlelight Records, and initially it was just not. It was I think 10 songs or 12 songs or something, and it only went for like 20 minutes and they were like, "Oh, it doesn't go for long enough. We need it to be 30 minutes." So we ended up
Right.
putting the Stench of Hardcore Pub Trash EP on the back of the Bite Your Head Off record. So it was like made it up to like half an hour. So that was just sort of something that we kind of had to do because of the label wanted the album a bit longer. So we were just like, yeah, whatever, cool.
Do you like now currently? Do you find like the art versus the business? Like, is it more like more of a is it less negotiable between like what you want to put down and what's expected of you as an artist?
Well, I think it was different. I mean, I can only speak from my own experience, but it was probably a little different for us back then because we were completely unknown and didn't have any kind of negotiating power, really. It was like,
Right.
hey, you want to put the album out on this record label? And this is what you have to do. So, but I think now that we've kind of found our feet with some of the, with the people that we work with, we probably have a little bit more, freedom to do that sort of stuff. But I think when we put Bite Your Head Off out, that was the whole intention. It was like just smash it out quick, 20 minutes. That was the whole idea of it. That was how it was supposed to be. But it's fine. We're not too precious about that stuff.
Yeah. So y'all toured, y'all put out some records locally in Australia. What was the big, like whenever whenever things kind of came to a head and you were like, dude, okay, this is something that we could do fucking full time. Uh what was that moment for you as a band? I suppose, like, like getting signed to a major label like Housecore and so on and so forth.
um, well, I guess we started getting opportunities to go to America. Really, that was the first thing. We did sign with a really big booking agent in Europe so we released our video for the song "Shit on the Liver," which was off the Bite Your Head Off record, and that really helped um, pick up things. Sort of gained a lot of momentum, especially in the UK and in the US, and that helped open a few doors for us. We got a booking agent in the UK who, he was a big. His name's Paul Ryan. He's like does like some big bands, Obituary, and I think he does like Trivium and Killswitch Engage and stuff like that. But we didn't really see any opportunities come through in 2013 after the album had been out for a little while, and we then started talking with some booking agents in America, and we ended up signing with Tone Deaf Touring, who we're actually still with today, and they organized our first tour in the US in I think it was in like March of 2014 or something like that.
Oh wow.
And we ended up coming over and doing 40 something shows and just playing our asses off everywhere we could. South by Southwest. We did some shows in California with Cattle Decapitation. Um, did a huge lap. And that really opened up some more opportunities for us. We ended up touring with Origin that year.
Damn.
And we did like a big tour with them. And then we were supposed to do a tour with Cryptopsy, but that fell through. And we ended up doing a smaller tour. Like we did 4 tours that year in America, and we ended up doing a smaller tour and playing at the Housecore Horror Fest, and that's how that kind of all opened up for us. And then we came home, and then in December we actually came back again and toured with this Down and Orange Goblin through North America. So it was kind of surreal for us going from that first tour that we did, playing in like dive bars to like 5 people sometimes, to like later that year we were playing the Wilton and the Fillmore in San Francisco, and House of Blues and all that sort of stuff with Down.
Yeah, all those legendary venues, man. I just
Yeah, it was a spin out, and like playing to 5 people some nights, and then like that same year playing to like 1,000, 2,000 people with Down. It was crazy.
now it was down in pretty much anything besides what Phil was involved with Pantera. Was that influential on King Parrot as well?
I'm definitely a Down fan. Um, it's probably, I mean, there may be some slight influences, but not really. I wouldn't say, but I think it was just such a awesome opportunity, and I think at that time, like Housecore was pretty excited about the band and wanted us to, wanted to put us out on the road and put us in front of more people, and it was great fun because King Parrot's obviously a lot more extreme than Down and Orange Goblin, so it was really funny every night. Like we would get right in the audience's face, and a lot of them didn't know what to expect, and they were just expecting to come to see this kind of stoner rock show or whatever, and then
Yeah.
we would come out and we'd be like throwing water at them, and I'd be on the front barricade screaming in people's faces, and the dudes from Down and Orange Goblin would just come out to the side and watch what would happen and laugh their asses off at the escapades that we were kind of doing to get the show kicked off. And it kind of worked well, but I'm sure we pissed a few people off as well.
Oh, I mean, if you're pissing people off, that's a good thing. I mean, there's always a story involved, like, oh, this guy's King Parrot. Yeah, they fucking kicked ass. Or they, like you said, any bad press is still good press.
Right.
So what type of other vocal influences you have besides the Bon Scott and Brian Johnsons of the world? I mean, obviously, there's something more to what you coming to do vocally and live, or just like, I mean, what inspired you to bring your act like this?
Well, I guess there's like things. There's a few aspects to it. I guess there's the vocal style itself, and then there's also the frontman thing,
Right.
which is something entirely different. But I guess I mean some of the first stuff, like extreme stuff that I heard when I was 11 or 12 years old, I guess, was Sepultura, Arise, and Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss. I had them on cassette, and that when I heard the vocals on that, it was on a taped cassette. Like it was taped off another tape, and the audio quality was so bad that it was like I felt like I hit the jackpot,
Right.
hearing that stuff, and I was too scared to like show my mom that or listen to it so my parents could hear it. But that had a profound impact on me, and then sort of getting into more of that, like I got right into like black metal stuff straight away, and started listening to all those kind of bands that were coming up, and underground bands as well, that were coming through that black metal scene in the early 90s. But stuff like Chris Barnes and Corpse Grinder is a big influence. I'm not a big Cradle of Filth fan or anything like that, but I do like that very first record and some of the screamy stuff that he does, like that.
Yeah, he had some high end fucking shrills.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. And I like that when that first came out. I liked that album, the Principle of Evil Made Flesh. I thought that was a good record, and some of that high screaming vocal stuff is something that I've definitely drawn influence from back in the day. But and then moving forward, like stuff like Obituary and John Tardy's a big influence, and having the we've toured with Cattle Decapitation a few times out here and in the States, and I think Travis Ryan's a great vocalist, and um, man, there's so many that I can think of. Even the guys that you had on the other day, Dax Riggs and Acid Bath.
Oh man, yeah. That,
I
that,
don't think I've stopped listening to those new Dax Riggs songs for the
oh
last.
yeah, the latest from his upcoming release, the seven
Man,
tracks for Spiders, 7 songs for Spiders, I
yeah,
believe.
I have listened to that. I know those songs like so well. I've listened to it so much the last couple of weeks. They're so good.
Yeah, dude's a character. He's a tremendous talent too, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So what was it like growing up in Melbourne, man? I mean, you are obviously the first person I interview from Australia, so
right.
congratulations on that. So I gotta know where you're coming from, man.
Australia's sort of. I mean, it's probably not too dissimilar to what happens in America. It's probably. I don't know. We just got a lot more space here.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
just we got a lot more space. Like I know one of the things I notice is like the house blocks are bigger. We've got a lot more space. We've got bigger yards and things like that. Um, but I mean, my upbringing was kind of pretty normal, and we get a lot of the stuff secondhand through America. So a lot of the stuff that happens for you guys, we just get that the media and all that crap. It's the same. It's the same stuff, really.
Hmm.
Um, we get a little bit of the UK stuff, and we get a little bit of the American stuff mostly. So, but yeah, I sort of became interested in the more extreme side of the music stuff when I was quite young, and started playing in bands and stuff when I was about 13 or 14 years old, and then trying to make. We used to have this heavy metal magazine, an Australian heavy metal magazine called Hot Metal, and it used to have all of the American stuff and European stuff, but it also had this thing in the middle, which was in black and white. It was like an insert kind of thing, and it used to have contacts with all the Australian bands. So
Oh yeah, we had the same shit over here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we could like read about Australian local bands, and then it also had this thing called I think it was called Fresh Flesh, and bands would send their demo tape in, get reviewed, and then they would have their address on there, and you could write letters to bands and stuff. So I just started writing letters to bands and saying, "Hey, I want your demo tape and a T-shirt," and started tape trading and buying stuff off bands that way. And then that's how I sort of started making connections in the scene, and I started organizing gigs and booking shows and trying to make some inroads into the Melbourne scene, I guess. And yeah, there were some great bands back in the sort of early '90s out here that probably didn't get the international recognition, I guess, that they would have probably got now, with the world being so much smaller with the internet and all that stuff.
Yeah. What are some of the local bands coming up when you were able to go into venues and watch them live? What were some of the bands in the Melbourne scene that like just really like said, dude, like I want to start playing this shit. I want to start doing what they do.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a lot. So one of the first bands I got in contact with was a band called Dreadnought, and they became friends. And Squiz, the guitarist in King Parrot, actually played in Dreadnought at that time, and that band is still going to this day. Which is great dudes and awesome band. But then I kind of made friends with a band called Blood Duster and another band called Damaged. This band called Bean Flipper, who I love. Another band called Christbait. And that was the other thing I was going to mention. I was thinking about it before we started the interview. Was that Damaged actually signed to Rotten Records?
Oh wow.
Right? Yeah. And that was sort of how, like, I kind of like we were like, oh wow, Damaged. The big kind of grindcore band here in Australia. They were really popular. Um, and they signed with Rotten and got some notoriety, and they were always kind of threatening to get over to America. And I believe that there was a tour maybe that was going to happen with Acid Bath and Damaged, but it never
Yeah.
quite happened. I don't know if those guys like
I
remember.
wanted to say, I wonder if those guys ever got out of their contract with Rotten, man, because I don't
Yeah,
know. I heard some wild stories about that label.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all I'm gonna say at that.
I think we all have. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was sort of like kind of open, and then people started looking at writing records and going, "Oh wow, Acid Bath and DRI and this sort of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
right here." So, yeah. So anyway, that's a handful of the bands. There's also like Sadistic Execution, who I always like to mention, and it's another band that I used to really like called Alchemist. And oh man, there's so many, but yeah, as I was sort of like getting older, I tried to sort of make inroads there and make some connections and start playing shows with those kind of bands in Melbourne, and sneaking into venues underage and all of the usual shit that you try and do when you're a teenager.
Oh yeah, you and I are pretty close in age, man. So I'm right there with you. You mentioned 81. I was born in 80, so
Yeah,
I'm just, I was doing the same shit as long as I can get a ride. I always have to travel 30 minutes plus to the next biggest city to get
yeah.
into a decent show. I mean, and fortunately, I was able to see some all ages acid bat shows when I was like 16, so that was
Oh
pretty
wow,
cool. And
amazing.
yeah, and to come full circle, and someone said, "Hey, man, hey, Sam is gonna be pals with you." I'm like, "Fuck off, man."
Yeah, I think I've
So
met Sammy a couple of times. He's a really nice dude. Yeah,
really nice dude, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I used to do the same shit, man. I used to have to. I live about an hour out of Melbourne, so I used to catch the train into the city. I would try and I'd take my friend. I had a friend who was 18, and we both shaved our heads. So I was 16, and he used to let me take his ID so I could go down to Melbourne, try and get into the venues and stuff like that, and then I would have to kind of wait until the show would finish at midnight, and I'd be blind drunk, and I'd kind of have to wait until the morning until the train started up again, so till I could get home. So I'd be wandering around the city streets at night time, just like really, yeah, just doing whatever I had to do to get, you know, involved and be there to see the stuff that I loved.
So tell me about the origins of King Parrot, man. Like, how did everything come about? I know you mentioned like the guitar player was playing in a band that you followed locally.
Yeah.
So was it just a matter of you two getting together, or was like some other
Um,
stories?
yeah, yeah. There's definitely some more stories to that. The band started with our guitarist Ari and our original drummer Matt Rizzo, who also played drums in a band called Blood Duster, who were quite. You might have heard of them. They're kind of a popular band out here in Australia for a long time, playing sort of grind rock. They kind of called it, but great band. And they started rehearsing, and then they asked me to join on vocals. And then we also had originally we had another guitarist who played in a band called the Berserker.
Mm-hmm.
They were signed to Earache and stuff for a bit. His name's Eddie, and we had a few different bass players before our current bass player Slats joined. But that was only, we never played any shows with them or anything like that. It was just jamming, and that's sort of how we kind of got started. Recorded the first EP with that lineup, and then Eddie left because he wanted to be a lawyer and sort of thought couldn't work out what King Parrot was because it wasn't a serious metal band, because we were kind of having fun and it was had a bit more punk rock aesthetic than what
Right.
he was used to. He couldn't quite get his head around it. I found I thought anyway. That was some of the conversations we had, and he was studying to be a lawyer, and then he left, and then we got our current guitarist Squiz, who was the guy who played bass in Dreadnought, and he's a little older than me, but yeah, he's a bit of a legend out here in the Australian scene and played in lots of different bands. And yeah, we're kind of lucky to have him on board, and he's been in it for a long time now.
He's got riffs for fucking days, man. Like and like just top to bottom, every album that I've heard from you guys, it's just chunky, grindy. I mean, every fucking cross section, every fucking subgenre, y'all check the box, and like in just about all of y'all songs, which is fucking amazing. I love it how y'all don't it if it's any if there's one consistent thing in King Parrot, it's fucking extreme, aggressive, and angry. I love that shit about y'all.
Yeah, right. It's definitely over the top.
Yeah.
That's just what we do all the time, nonstop, over the top, and just go for it. And yeah, that's sort of the whole idea. But yeah, we had that. Then we did that first record with that lineup, and then Rizzo, our drummer, ended up leaving. And we kind of played with two drummers for a year or two. We had Matt Skitz, who actually played in that band Damage that I was talking about earlier, and then we also had another guy called Rob Brems. And they were both very different drummers. Matt Skitz was really fast and intense and full on. So we do like 2 months of shows with Matt Skitz and play as fast as we possibly could. And then we get this other guy, Rob Brems, who would play, and he was like really good drummer, but he'd just sit right back on the backbeat and have swing and feel and all of that. So then it would become this whole other thing, and we really enjoyed that too. So we were kind of like, it felt like we were two different bands for about a year or two there, but we were just trying to keep the momentum rolling. And we ended up going with the more intense guy, Matt Skitz, and he came and did that first US tour in 2014 with us, and then he ended up leaving the band after that tour. And then we got our current drummer, Todd Hansen, who also played in that band, the Berserker, who were signed on Earache. He came and joined us, and then he's been with us ever since.
And y'all just kind of have a revolving door of musicians that just, but collectively, y'all made some of the fucking like kick-ass music, man, like to this day.
Yeah. Well, we always kind of had that. We've always had that forward momentum, that positive
Right.
forward momentum, like to just keep things rolling, keep things moving. If there's an obstacle in the way, I think that's where a lot of bands kind of fall down sometimes, is like, if there's an obstacle in the way, they just go, oh, no, nah, we just won't do it. Or we just, whereas King Parrot's always kind of been a band where it's like, no, we're going to do this and we're going to work out a way to make it work. We're going to try and find a solution to the problem or to the issue. And I think that's sort of, we made it very clear at the start that we want to tour and we want to be a band that tours and takes this kind of Australian style of extreme music and take it overseas internationally and try and take as many opportunities as we can to do that. And if someone's not available or someone can't do it, then we don't get precious about it. We just push on and make it work.
So yeah, and I think that surrounding yourself with some like-minded individuals from the jump off,
Yeah.
just hey, look, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to. This is what we want to accomplish. And once you have everyone on board, having that same team mindset, it makes everything easy for King Parrot, like you said, to just overcome obstacles and pursue your agenda. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad. I'm glad that more bands are like starting to take note of that, because it's one thing to get the same guys that look good, play the part, whatever. But if they don't have the same mindset going in, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, right. Totally. And I think that's been, it's a hard thing to find in bands. It's very challenging because obviously people got to live and pay the rent, pay the bills, do all that stuff, whatever they got to do to make things work. So yeah, we've just been lucky in the sense that we've had people that and we kind of chose people or tried to choose people that had experience in touring or had that similar kind of mindset, and then we were never like hiding it, or before anyone joined the band, we were never like saying, "Oh, we might do this or we might do that." It was like, "No, this is what we're going to do, and
Mhm.
you got to be available. If you don't want to do it, that's fine." And we definitely tried out people, and we definitely had people that came in and then had a look or might have had a jam and stuff, and they went, "Oh no, that's too much." Yeah.
Is there any other creative outlets musically that you do besides King Parrot?
Yeah, yeah. So I have a like a little side project going with the guys from Psychroptic.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure you're familiar with those guys.
I'm not really. I'll be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Psychroptic are like they've done really well for themselves over the years. They're quite well known in the technical death metal world.
Okay, that's why.
They've
That's
definitely
that.
toured with Goat Whore before.
All
I
right.
think they're coming over to the America soon and doing a tour with Nile and 6 Feet Under. Maybe they're doing
Oh
a
wow.
big tour early next year, and they've done lots of stuff, and definitely well respected out here. And the drummer Dave and the guitarist Joe um, asked me to do a grind band with them, side projects, and these guys are such accomplished musicians that when they ask you to join a band with them, you just do it. And they send me like, "Oh, hey, we've got some demos," and they'll send me these demos, and it's just completed already. It's already album quality stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that's called Crisis Act, and we've got a couple. I don't know. We don't even like to label what the release is actually called. It's like I guess they're an EP, but they're like 10 or 12 super short songs.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute, just full on intense blasting grind. It kind of sounds like a cross between what Psychroptic and King Parrot would sound like for sure.
Oh wow. I'm definitely gonna check that out then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun, man.
check out
Yeah. It
more
doesn't
more of
take up too
Psychoptic.
much time either. It's like 10 minutes, 10 minutes and it's done.
Oh hell yeah. Just go run the fastest mile to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great gym music.
Love it. So do you get involved with writing any of the riffs in King Parrot? Or is this like
No.
is like the guys present the songs to you like
No,
and
I
you
haven't.
just
I haven't done any of the riffs in King Parrot actually. I I mean, like sometimes I've kind of thought, yeah, maybe that'd be cool. I should do it, but then I just haven't done it at all yet. Which I mean, I can play and write riffs and stuff, but I just haven't done it because we've got like the three guys there. So I just kind of stick to the structures and the vocals and we like to kind of work organically in the sense that you know, guys will write riffs or songs or tie some parts together, but we'll definitely work it through in the rehearsal room, and I'll try and develop some ideas while I'm listening to the guys jamming, and yeah, it's a very organic process as opposed to what a lot of more kind of modern bands probably do these days in terms of just writing on the computer and things like that.
yeah. What's your proudest moment as a writer with King Parrot? Like, is there like maybe a whole album or like one particular song that kind of stands out for you that really challenged you as an artist, as a performer, even?
Well, I think that's probably going to be the new record that we've just finished, because we hadn't done a record since 2017. We put out a little EP in 2020 during COVID of some songs that we recorded out at the Housecore studio, just that were just sitting there. But we haven't done a record for such a long time. So like this year, we spent most of the year recording, and yeah, this new album is probably the thing that I'm the most proud of, in the sense that we spent a lot of time doing pre-production. We spent a lot of time just honing the songs, getting them right, and then we did something different that we hadn't done before, which was we click tracked everything,
Oh wow.
which I think has really tightened up our sound. It still sounds like King Parrot, but it's definitely much more full on,
Mhm.
in the sense that I feel like some of the other records have a bit more of a loose kind of punk rock aesthetic because we didn't use a click track. But this is definitely much more punchy and solid and in your face. And I just feel like doing things that way was it's very different as opposed to just like getting in there and blasting it out and recording it, pretty much live and just making sure you get a good drum track. So it's definitely got a bit of a different feel to it. But in terms of like the writing and stuff, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm proud of on this new record. And yeah, we're going to start releasing stuff like early next year and before we go to Europe. So that's the plan. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be exciting to get some new tunes out there finally.
Yeah, I'd say that, and I was asking you the second question. Is it a favorite of yours to record or play live? Like, what gets your juices flowing?
Well, definitely playing live is. I mean, King Parrot is a live band. That's what we are. We're a live band. So that's what we live for. That's our bread and butter and all of that. But the writing process is something that I love and something that I've grown to love more as we've done it more, and then also get better at it and understand different techniques and um, different ways of tracking things and different approaches. And we've been really lucky to work with some incredibly talented people that have imparted their wisdom on us, and so that's made it even more enjoyable, in the sense that we can take that stuff and apply it to our craft. So yeah, it's exciting, and what we did with this new record has been really cool. And like I'm chomping at the bit to just get going and do something else again now. So we're talking about doing maybe like a covers EP, like where we cover some songs that we
Oh,
really
really?
like. Yeah, that's maybe the next thing that we're going to do. So yeah.
I couldn't help but do a little bit of light stalking of King Parrot's of who y'all follow, and I saw that y'all did follow Poison Idea, one of my favorite fucking punk bands of all time.
Oh yeah.
And where is there going to be a Poison Idea cover in the future, or what's up?
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, man. I love Poison Idea. They're like absolutely one of my all-time favorite bands. And it's it's funny. I on the new record we got this song. It's kind of loosely related to the Badge. Maybe
Yeah.
it's called It's a Rort, and I put a spoken word part in the song, like on a CB, like on a cop radio.
Yeah.
I actually stole some of the lyrics from the Badge and set it into this cop radio and put it on the new album. And I messaged Jerry. I don't know. I actually I just recorded it in the studio because we were just sort of thinking of this part. And I was like, maybe I'll just say some lyrics from the Badge and just put it in there. And then I
Yeah.
messaged Jerry and I was like, dude, I just put some of your lyrics in our song. I said it, and he just goes, do it, man. Just send me a copy of the record. And I was like,
That's fucking awesome. That's awesome, dude. That's just great that Jerry just gave you the fucking go ahead to do that. That's awesome, man.
it was like while we were in the studio, I just had the idea. I was like, maybe I'll say this. I did it. And then I was like, I just jumped up. So I got him on my Facebook and I just messaged him. And he responded right away, which was cool. So I was like, yeah, it's all cool. We got the go ahead.
Just give me the album. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'd love to do a Poison Idea cover, and we'll probably also do some covers of some Aussie bands as well that we like. And I'm not sure exactly what's going to be on it yet, but definitely Poison Idea would be a band that I would love to cover.
Yeah. Did y'all release the name of the new stuff that's coming out yet, or is that still in wraps?
Not yet. We've been playing a few of the songs live, and have been going down really well. Especially a couple of them have been going down really well. But yeah, no, all that stuff it'll come out soon. I'm just we've got a few more shows coming up this weekend. So once we got all that out the way, I'm just trying to get everything, moving in the background, as well as the Europe tour stuff. And then, yeah, there'll be some news about everything pretty soon.
Hell yeah. So I know y'all gonna be doing the UK and Europe tours with Pantera, as we mentioned. Is any plans coming back to the States anytime soon? So I
Yeah,
can go
yeah,
see,
yeah,
so I can see you guys.
yeah, yeah. We're coming back. We'll be there over summer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
we'll be over your summer. So yeah, so maybe July, August, something like that. We'll be coming back over to do some shows. So we're just working all that out now.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the new stuff that's on the horizon, especially that fucking the cover album that y'all planning for. Looking forward to that. But before I let you go, I need to know what 6 albums Matt cannot live with. The house is burning down. What you saving? What's going with you?
Well, oh man, that's hard. That is hard. Well, I got to say, Poison Idea, man, Feel the Darkness is definitely there. Um, I would say, make me choose one Black Sabbath record.
I'm not making you choose anything, sir.
You got to make me choose one Black Sabbath record and one AC/DC record.
Oh,
That's hard. I like Power Age, I guess, AC/DC. Um, Sabbath, I mean, Volume 4, Master Reality.
see, that's why you and I we get along so well because I'm a Volume 4 guy myself.
Yeah,
Fucking cornucopia under the sun. I mean, dude, just snowblind.
yeah, yeah,
Need
yeah.
I say more?
Um, yeah. So though, yeah. There's what's that? 3.
Yep. Halfway there, Matt. I
I've
believe in
got
you.
I love the Kinks. I love the.
Oh,
I'm a huge
dude.
Kinks fan.
Hell yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I got this. I got this box set of the Village Green Preservation Society, and I think that's just one of those records that's so underrated. Um, I love that album. I love all the King stuff. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
when I put that album on, it's such a bizarre, weird concept album that and I show it to other people, and I'll be like, "You got to listen to this record. It's fucking incredible."
It really is.
It
Those
just
dudes
goes
are
straight over
geniuses,
a lot
man.
of people's heads, But for me, I don't know. That album is it's a really special record, and yeah, I got this huge box set thing. It's got all these books and collector's stuff and different uh, edits. So that's a box set. So I'm taking the box set.
Do it.
Um, what else? You know what? I love the Who live at Leeds. That's one
Oh
of my
yeah.
favorite records. And then, oh man, and then it's all the metal stuff. I mean, but I will say, and I don't actually have this on vinyl, and it's not actually available on vinyl. But one of my favorite bands is that band Damaged, and I highly recommend you check them out. The band that's signed to Rotten Records. They got an album. Their first album, Do Not Spit, is a classic, but their second album, it was they had the first album, then an EP, and then the second album. It's called Token Remedies Research, and that was the one that came out on Rotten Records. And to me, that is probably one of the best extreme metal albums that came out of Australia. It
Hell
is
yeah.
amazing, and yeah, I love that band, and that is such a favorite record of mine. So there's 6, I guess.
That's a solid 6 in my book.
Yeah, but there's so many more that I could, that I'd be devastated to leave behind.
Yep. I believe you're the first person to ever drop the Kinks on the podcast, man. So hell yeah. I love it.
I mean, I saw Ray Davies play.
Oh
I don't
wow.
know, maybe like he would have been like 71. I think he was 71. This was years ago. Like, and he's probably in a nursing home or something now. If he's still alive. But he was awesome, man. At 71, he had this young band, and he was playing all the hits, and he was doing like kicks and rocking out, and he was fucking amazing, dude. Yeah.
Fucking A. Matt, this has been fucking awesome, man. I'm glad we're able to do this. And like I said before, I'm looking forward to the new album, the new releases, and hopefully summertime comes over here in the States. we'll see you live too, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll be down in New Orleans, so we'll have to try and catch up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And thanks for joining me, man. Fucking Matt from goddamn King Parrot. Check out the new releases coming next year to catch him in the UK if you can. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your support. Thanks so much, man.
You got it, bud.